It'll be an international stop, not Canada, Mexico City. What do you think?
Well, I think it's been in the works for quite some time. I will say, too, that I think this is just the beginning of NASCAR's international venturing of the Cup Series. But I'm not surprised. It's one of the biggest, I think, areas that has NASCAR support. We saw them bring the NASCAR Mexico Series to the LA Coliseum, and they've had a lot of success with the NASCAR Mexico Series down there. And obviously, we have some experience with the Xfinity Series, having run at that track, and I think it'll be interesting. I'm not sure if June and Mexico City is going to be a little hot, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'd say that, yeah.
That might be a little bit rough, but
That's right, Daytona and June were hot, too.
I know they've been trying to put this together for a while, and they finally worked out a lot of the details. I think they were trying. Now, I never did travel, but I think one of the things they tried to do back when the Xfinity Series was to try to get everybody to stay in the same places, sort of like they do like in the Olympics. And I think we're working on doing something of that to kind of help with the travel logistics. But
I know, Adam, the road course down there has gotten rave reviews.
Right, yeah. And I think I heard Ben Kennedy say today, this will be the longest straightaway
I saw that
in NASCAR.
Yeah.
They
made some little tweaks, I think, to the course.
But tremendous anticipation to go there and see this track and for Cup to be racing out of the country in a points race and all those things. The Xfinity Series also going to be there, and it's my understanding the NASCAR Mexico Series will run a Saturday doubleheader with the Xfinity cars. And I was at the LA Coliseum earlier this year when the NASCAR Mexico Series ran there as a setup to the Clash. Actually, it ended up being after the Clash. the way it worked out.
And the Clash was a day early.
That's right. Yeah,
we saw a little bit of everything that
somehow
weekend.
I got home.
Yeah, that's right.
But
I did too, barely.
But I will say that they had us do that race on FS1, and just the interaction with everyone that was involved on the NASCAR Mexico side was outstanding. It was a wonderful relationship that had been built there, and so now to be able to go to Mexico and race, I think is going to be awesome. I think these drivers, deserve this opportunity to build their brands outside the country, and it's an opportunity for NASCAR to continue to grow. And there have been some really good young drivers that have come out of the NASCAR Mexico Series. We know that Daniel Suarez is the only Mexican-born driver to win at the Cup level, and of course he's an Xfinity champion. But Andres Perez, I believe, is leading the ARCA Menards points right now, and he is, if I'm right in saying, a NASCAR Mexico Series champion. So there is tremendous young talent coming up through the NASCAR Mexico Series, and now for Xfinity and Cup to go to Mexico City and race, to me, really, really will shine a light on NASCAR's top levels.
I know there has been some angst, Jim, from the Canadians fans that they feel like not from the Montreal Canadiens fans, or maybe them too.
There may have been angst from them too.
Maybe angst from them too, but from the Canadian fans, that why is NASCAR going to Mexico first? But I know NASCAR has worked to try to get a date for Cup in Canada, but it just has not come to fruition yet.
No, I mean, they tried. They came very close last season to returning to Montreal, and just there. It's not for lack of trying. I'll say that. And I do think before the next few seasons are over, we will be making a trip. I think the Cup Series will be making a visit back in Canada, whether it be at Montreal or perhaps at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And I don't think that that's the end. I think this is just the beginning, as I alluded to earlier, of opportunities. Now that they have found that they can take and actually take NASCAR racing into large cities, whether it be on a street course or inside a Coliseum. It opens the doors for taking it on the road to multiple places. I know Brazil is talking about trying to host the Clash in 2026, which I would not be surprised if that happens, because that is another area, as Adam alluded to earlier, about the NASCAR Mexico and the support that they have. The NASCAR Brazil is also a very popular there's a tremendous amount of support for NASCAR racing down there, and they're kind of like really wide open to it because they're kind of discovering NASCAR racing, but they're also discovering oval racing at the same time because they really haven't had much of it down in Brazil. And it's something we take it for granted because kind of like the red bedrock of NASCAR here, but in other places they're not accustomed to it, and it's like big wide eyes when they see ovals, kind of like we looked at street courses and road courses at the beginning.
Well, I would say this. I was at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park probably 2014-15, somewhere in that time frame when the Truck Series went there. I was blown away by the passion and the knowledge of the fans there. And I believe going outside the country is the next biggest step. And this is huge, especially at the Cup level. And I will say tremendous credit goes to Ben Kennedy and everyone around him. They have taken some chances. You don't always win. Sometimes you run the risk of really, really looking silly when you get outside the box. They've gone way outside the box, and they've won some of these battles. And when you win, you gain credibility, and that buys you grace to try new things more and more. They're doing it. They're winning with it. And that, to me, is why the door is open to go to Mexico City. And what Jim said is true. Who knows what's next?